Game time.
I can teach you how to get paid, how to get by, and how to get fly. I can teach you how to get cake, if not the whole thing, at least a little slice. Honestly, I'm an immaculate anomaly. I'm an orgasmic organism, ain't no ordinary organs in them. I can't afford any synonymy. That's why my flow is like a cinnamon tsunami with the lemongrass. Ooh, ooh. Let me know what you wanna do. If you wanna build, I'm Bobby. If not, then kick it in the lobby. I've got a lot to do. Ooh, I'ma watch what you gonna do. If you wanna build, I'm Bobby. If not, then tuck a douche. You throwing up the vibe, hey, hey, hey. And I don't got time. It's all about the vibe. That's all that I've got time for. I've got to do, stack with me. Don't come through with that energy. If you ain't with the vibe, don't waste my time. I can show you how to make a lot of cheese. I got the dialect of dairy in my diarrhea. I'm from a lactose intolerance community. I wanna circulate the units and the unity. The opportunity of opportunity for stacking bands. Opportunity to stack them figures with your family. I can show you how to get them figures in advance. I don't see nobody else but us giving a damn. Ooh, ooh. So let me know what you wanna do.
What's up, guys? Can you guys hear this? Could you just confirm? Please.
Throwing off the vibe, and I don't got time for that. It's all about the vibe. That's all that I've got time for. I got the good stack with me.
Perfect, thank you.
Don't come through with bad energy. You're with the vibe. What's good, Megan? And the making a young typhoon that's sickening. Typhoid and spill like a typhoon, let it rain. Live in the streets where the money's hunted by drainages.
What up, what up? What's up, Alec? Good to see you on here. What's up, Eric? What's up, Lori? Stefan, good to see you here too. Thanks for confirming the audio good. Contractor Growth, good to see you as well, man. Sean, Ken, Moto Fishy, Greg Adams, good to see you too, man. You've got the vibe, we harmonize. We've got the vibration. You've got the vibe, I've got the vibe. All right, all right. Day 9. Day 9. We made it to day 9. Amazing. So today we've got something really special. Really special. This is something we've been working on for over the last 3 months. And as you guys know, because we have our hands both in the software side where we're building Search Atlas, we're building the next generation of AEO, SEO technology, but we also like to keep ourselves sharp by taking our knowledge that we're learning from the research that we do, from the technology that we're implementing, and applying it with clients. That's how we keep our edge, by actually taking the theoretical side of SEO and applying it with clients. That's how we learn. That's how we know what's actually working. And that allows us to go from the lab to the field. And Search Atlas is very much the bridge where we're able to take the research and move it into a way that we can all practically get the best of that research and knowledge and implement it with our clients and on the web to actually get to page 1 of Google. And what I'm going to share with you today is the hidden ranking factor, the answer to a question that has been befuddling us for years, which is, why do the rankings work the way that they do? Right? We used to think the rankings were largely governed by sites that have high authority measured by backlinks. But by going through the evolution of the way that Google thinks about authority, we actually realized there's a very good reason why the rankings aren't solely driven by the authority of the websites or solely driven by the quality of the landing page. There is a hidden ranking factor. And that hidden ranking factor is something people give a different name to. Some people call it topical authority. We call it topical dominance. And so today, we will be showing you guys something really exciting that I'm super thrilled to announce, which is Topical Dominance. New product in Search Atlas launching today inside the Site Explorer. So before I show you guys how we got here, and before I teach you guys about this important product and concept in SEO, I want to also just shout out a few people who have really helped us in our journey and our quest to understand this. One is my good friend Koray Tugber-Gabor, a brilliant researcher and SEO. Also my friend Pavel. Pavel's been super helpful as we develop this product as well. And of course, our brilliant researchers on the Search Atlas team, on the backend team, you guys know who you are. Thank you guys so much for the hard work on this and bearing with me as I gave you guys the equations, as I wrote the algorithms, as I walked you guys through it and kept demanding that we tighten it up and sharpen the pencil. So thanks for working with me. And let's actually get into it. Let me show you guys what topical dominance is and walk you guys through how it was that we got to this product, okay? So let's go to the big screen. Before we do, I'm just going to check the comment section to see what's happening over here. Man, a lot of people on the live stream today, which is amazing to see. Seeing a lot of good stuff. Seeing Ricky Butts in the house. We got Ken Plain in the house. V12 with the rocket emoji. Lori Newman, great to see you. Deepak, awesome to see you too, man. Alec, brother, great to have you on here, man. We've been talking about topical dominance and Scholar and Quest and Quasar and all this crazy stuff that we've been building for a while. So super thrilled to put the technology in your hands today. Build better business, online digital marketing. Awesome to hear. Look, that he upgraded from monthly starter to annual pro. Bro, thank you, man. Thank you for that. Amazing to see. Appreciate all the support that we're getting here. Appreciate all the love, guys. And let me show you guys some love today with this new product, all right? So let's jump in. Boom. Topical dominance. Marketing team today with a robot. It looks like they're looking at some kind of a circuit board. 3 bright lights in the eyeballs, so a little bit asymmetric. So interesting, a little edginess there, I guess. Holding this globe. What is that globe that they're holding in their hands? Are they Christopher Columbus trying to figure out what's on the other side of the world, or are they holding some kind of data that they're wrapping their arms around and just looking at it and dominating it? I don't know. I'm not really sure. I didn't design the robot, but the marketing team did. Once again, marketing team, kudos to you for the generation here. Where's the applause? Okay. Well, I mean, couldn't we have like maybe had a robot holding some books or maybe a robot, in a library, reading a couple pages or reading a newspaper. I don't know. To be honest, I didn't really have a lot of say over these AI-generated images. It's the holidays. I also want my team to be able to get away from work and have some fun. So just kind of let them roll with what they created. Again, marketing team, kudos to you. Let's begin. What is topical dominance? What is it? Topical dominance, we defined it the other day, but if you weren't here, if you guys were too busy drinking your eggnog and enjoying some hot cocoa, no worries. Quick refresher. It is the quantitative expression, the measure of a domain's expertise and authority on a specific topic or set of related topics. That is what topical dominance is. And what we should endeavor to do is bring our domains into the state of topical dominance over the competition. And how we're going to do that, how we're going to get there, we'll show you today. So one of the first questions is, how does Google calculate topical dominance? How do they calculate it? How do they think about it? You guys might have seen this Petri dish, domain bacterial growth slide if you've been following our work for the last couple of years. But this was a really fascinating patent that was published, and it explains how Google organizes the internet into what are called contextual domains. So each little bacterium zone, each little bubble has a domain in it, and it's saying domain 2, domain 3, domain 4. These are not actual website domains, to be clear. These are knowledge domains. And so when we take the internet, which is the entire circle, we break it down into these little zones of topics. And those topics, when we put them together, equal a knowledge domain. Where does Google get those domains from? Where do they get the topics from? How do they know how to organize the internet into these topics or into these zones? Well, there's a lot of evidence to see that suggests that they're using free-based topics. We see that all over the Content Warehouse API leak. We also know that they're using Wikipedia to understand the topology of information and the topicality and what is a parent topic, what is a child topic. And Wikipedia is obviously refreshed and up to date as the world state changes. And so there's a lot of evidence to suggest they're getting that information from Wikipedia. They're also likely using their own AI models to build these topical zones. And I suspect that when there's a core algorithm update, which we're getting pretty much every month now, that they're recalculating these topical zones and recalculating who are the topical authorities. But before we get to that point, another illustration to kind of explain this idea of the topics and the topical zones. Here, each color-coded set of dots is really a country. And so it's kind of meant to illustrate this idea that these topics that are similar cluster together, topics that are dissimilar are far apart. And essentially the entire Alexandria content warehouse is a series of these topics and documents that are organized according to their similarity to one another relative to everything else. So this is a way to illustrate and just kind of draw like a mental understanding of how the information is organized in these topical zones, okay, or contextual domains. So this is how they actually break it down. They divide the universe into domains. Then they create domain lists of selected terms unique for each domain. This is essentially a vocabulary list, and what they then do is identify a corpus organized by topical entries. They count the occurrence of the domain list terms for each topical entry and calculate a macro context for each topical term entry, identifying the dominant domains. Okay, to simplify that, essentially, I think this illustration explains it in a little bit easier way to grasp. You have domains on the left-hand side, that's like one column, and then on the right-hand side, the weight. And so if we increase our usage of certain terminology on our website, then we can actually move up inside the series of domains. So that's what this is all about. In order to become the topical authority and step into a state of topical dominance, we have to increase our weighting of those terms, of those topical terms, of the entities, okay? That's how we get there. If you don't get it so far, that's okay. We're going to keep working on this concept to explain it a little bit further. Here, you guys have probably seen this. Some people asked, where in the leak did we find this information? On the top left, you see it's from the Quality Authority Topic Embeddings Versioned Item Model. That's the database. What have written in the docstring is that they're storing a version of the topic embeddings scores, and this is copied from the topic embeddings in the doc joins. And so here we're seeing essentially for websites on the internet, they're creating a vector embedding of all the content on the website, and they're ascribing a focus score to it around its dominant topic. On its specific topic, you see the number denoting how much the site is focused on one topic. So one thing you can do is if you talk about too many topics that are away from the central search intent of the website, you can dilute your topical dominance. So what's very important about our topical dominance is that we have to be really centered and focused around one topic before we branch out into other topics. Very important to cluster those as tightly as possible. And today, when we show you the tool, we'll show you how we're able to do that in a much more powerful way, in a much more scientifically rigorous way than the type of keyword gap analyses that I've seen a lot of people doing and suggesting that the industry should be doing when we're coming up with our content strategy. And then, of course, site radius, which I've talked about many times on the show. It's a measure of how far the page embeddings are deviating from the site embedding. So basically, how far, how wide is the site? Like how many other topics are we getting into? You really want a tight radius. You want to be tight. You don't want to have a high radius. The more narrowly focused your site is, and the higher your focus score, the more likely you will be to rank for the topic that you're trying to rank for. So keep that in mind. I can share a true story before we get into the evolution of ranking factors. My first startup, our team didn't get this right. We were a live entertainment ticketing platform, and the team thought that we should write about concerts and music and artists. And so what they did is they started writing about all this stuff that had nothing to do with ticketing. And so when they moved away from ticketing into this subject space, which was actually not super far away, but it was different, then Google started to see our domain more as a live entertainment news website where we were talking about music and artists and live entertainment. And that was bad. It hurt our rankings. So instead, we had to pivot. We had to prune the site, remove that content, and focus our site on ticketing, on venues, on events, on really nitty-gritty information that was not out there on the internet. And sure as hell, when we did this, we saw dramatic shifts. Our traffic increased dramatically because we became that topical authority in that sub-aspect of ticketing. When we think about a knowledge domain, and we think about how do we build up our authority, today we'll show you in our product 3 layers to that. The highest level layer, the lowest level layer, and a middle layer for how we can look at this. But first, the quick evolution of ranking factors. I'm going to take you through about a 20-year journey for the Google team and how they've gotten to this point of being more sensitive to the topics, to the content of websites, more than just the backlink authority. So we began obviously with PageRank and an authority hub analysis, which is a form of link analysis. We then evolved into the eigentrust and trust me, which is a form of basically calculating trust based on trusted nodes and new nodes, and then passing and sharing authority in a peer-to-peer network context. Then we moved into web topology, trust rank, and antitrust, which were mechanisms and algorithms for combating web spam, which then brings us to knowledge-based trustworthiness, which is one of the newest concepts that we've seen the Google team study. This really began in about 2014, 2015, when we saw that they released a paper about this topic. So honestly, not that old in the age of search engines and search science. This would be probably the most recent incarnation of algorithms designed to find high-quality sites and avoid low-quality sites. And in this paper, you guys can Google it. It's called Knowledge-Based Trust, Estimating the Trustworthiness of Web Sources. What they've done is they've regressed knowledge-based trust, which is an endogenous variable that is calculated based on the content of a website. So this is solely within your control. The x-axis, knowledge-based trust. Y-axis, page rank. So this is our backlink profile, okay? And what they did is this was, I believe, a collection of about 10,000 sites that they plotted when they were trying to develop an intuition for whether this knowledge-based trust score would be useful or not. And what you see here is quite interesting, is that look at this lower right-hand quadrant here. You guys still with me here? Everyone still awake? Bueller? Come on, this is the good stuff. This is the good part, okay? These guys down here in the lower right-hand corner, this is Seabiscuit, all right? These are the underdogs, right? It's us. It's all of us here. We're the guys who are the underdogs. So we can have high knowledge-based trust, right? High content quality, really, really good factuality on our domain while we have low page rank. So these were sites that Google said, shit, these sites are good sites. They've got a lot of trustworthiness when it comes to their knowledge on their website. They're advancing good factuality, a lot of factuality, and not just random factuality, but quality factuality that is accurate and that is correct and that is topically non-trivial. When it comes to facts, Google's looking at that. They're not just trying to see, hey, like, are you a gossip site, right? People don't trust gossip sites because they make up shit. They're not honest. They're not credible. And so Google doesn't want gossip sites ranking. And the problem is the gossip sites, everyone links to them, right? Because they're inflammatory. They've got a lot of page rank. But guess what? They're like over here. They're like, that could be one of those gossip sites. They've got a tremendous amount of page rank, but very low knowledge-based trust because the facts that they're advancing are not real. They're not valid. And so that for them hurts them and their ability to rank for certain topics, right? So really interesting, real example. They actually talked about that very example in this patent, okay? So very interesting to see that they're using this new incarnation of an algorithm to evaluate the quality of sites based on their content. And the key idea here is that the topical dominance concept allows newer sites with high topical coverage, good topical depth, and strong velocity to outrank larger backlink authoritative websites. So even if your competitors have way more backlinks than you do, which are expensive to get, which are challenging to get, and obviously you guys know with Wildfire, with Signal Genesis, with Cloud Stacks, with Link Laboratory Publisher Exchange, we're giving you an armada of ways to build backlinks more quickly, more efficiently. Oh, I forgot the digital PR outreach tool as well to do your own outreach. So we're giving you the tools to build those backlinks. And meanwhile, we're saying that you don't need probably as many backlinks as you think, right? If you're in a world where you think we need to build hundreds and hundreds of high authority backlinks every month, that may only be true if you're in a really competitive niche, if you're going after well-established competitors. I'm talking businesses that are in the $100 million plus context, right? Those are the kind of businesses that spend a lot of money to build backlinks. We've got a lot of customers that need that type of product. But for the rest of us, right, we don't have to spend money in that way right now. And the reason I'm saying right now is because, like everything in SEO, there's a moving story, there's a moving narrative happening here that as technology state-of-the-art advances, it causes shifts in the way that search engines have to work. They have to re-evaluate domains and websites in response to the changes that are taking place. And so 2025, the year ahead, we're expecting to see lots of changes, right? In the way that the search engines behave, the way that they work, in their user experiences, and the way that they evaluate the internet, especially when we step into Willow and quantum computing. We're going to see the algorithms become tougher and more powerful and be more effective at eliminating spam. But anyways, you guys get the point. Topical dominance allows us to outrank our competition. So then the main question is, all right, Manick, I'm with you. I want more topical dominance. So how do I increase that topical dominance, right? So let's see. The 3 horsemen of topical dominance are content velocity, which is how quickly we're publishing, our steadiness of our publishing cadence on the domain with new content. We've got the vastness, basically how wide and broad are we going with our topics? Are we getting into the subject matter space in different contexts? Are we exploring it fully? And then the depth, how deep are we going into those subjects? Are we going granular enough? Do we have a lot of detailed information and facts that are important and relevant both to users as well as especially to these algorithms that we've talked about? And so when you do this right, to break it back down into like a simpler analogy, the way that when we talk about vastness, we're talking about, let's say, the tree being able to have a lot of shade right below it. It's got to have a lot of these big branches. It's got to go wide, right? And cast a lot of shade beneath it. That's where the vastness comes from. Depth comes from the branches themselves going long and having a lot of sub-branches and a lot of leaves and a lot of nodes and a lot of specific factuality within each of those children within the knowledge domain. And then velocity, that comes from us sprouting leaves and branches quickly and consistently and maintaining a high velocity that is also stable and doesn't have these big lulls in the domain's publishing frequency, that it stays high and constant, okay? So topical dominance is what I call the hidden ranking factor, because in all of our correlation studies, it was actually the variable that we couldn't measure that was driving the behavior and rankings in a way that we couldn't explain. We couldn't understand why it was that some sites, even though they're really small sites, outranked way more authoritative sites. There are tons of case studies out there. If you look at Google and you're looking at a particular SERP and you see a smaller site ranking there, one of the things you should be thinking about is, you know what, maybe these guys have actually figured out this topical dominance component. Because if you have strong topical dominance, this from a ranking perspective is extremely powerful and can explain those shifts. One of the problems we have with Google is that they're essentially a black box. There are inputs that go into the system, and then there are outputs, which are the rankings that we observe. But the processes in the middle are completely hidden from us. Right? Hard for us to see what is going on within that box. And so one way to break it down, the way that we approach this, and it's a simple metaphor. Like how often if you guys, let's say you're at like a friend's house, or maybe in the holidays you're at your family, and you step into a room and it's dark in there and you're basically flipping the switches and trying to figure out how to get the lights on, right? You don't know which switch does what. You just flip the switch and see which one turns on the light, right? Essentially, the idea is the same with correlation, that sometimes we don't know if a particular variable is correlated with rankings or not. But what we have to do is look at all the sites that are ranking and measure how far are the dials turned up or down for each of these factors. And then we look at what does the ranking system say? Like if we have a large amount of topical dominance, are we ranking highly or are we ranking lowly? So we do this because one, we're in the quest for truth to try to understand how do search engines behave? How do all information systems behave? Because this is not just about Google, it's really about search strategy and search science, right? The state of the art is always moving forward, and generally, the scientists all draw from the same set of subject matter. And so we're trying to always understand how are these search systems evolving and where are they going? And so to understand that, and also to make sure when we think we get it, that we've actually quantified it correctly, is we have to do the correlation studies. So for this one, how did we solve it? What was our approach to calculating topical dominance? I'm going to show you. Okay, I'm going to show you. Step one, we process all the keywords within the knowledge domain. And sometimes the keywords fall outside the knowledge domain, but we have to process them anyways. We have to process their search volume, their cost per click data, the SERP data. We have to analyze all the information about the keywords and then ascribe them their topicality. When we ascribe them the topicality, we also can figure out which knowledge domain they're in and which topical cluster do they belong to. And then we're able to calculate a topical search volume for each topic. Within each topic, we've got all the keywords that are within that topic, and we can add up the search volume of all those keywords to get the estimated topical search volume. Okay? With me so far? Awesome. Good. A lot of people following along. Good stuff, good stuff. All right. And then step three, for every domain or competitor that is in the SERPs that we care about, we need to compute what is the share of the total topical search volume and calculate the relative topical coverage scores. That is the algorithm for how to do this. This was complicated, required a lot of data maneuvering, a lot of data wrangling, and this, from what we can see in the patents, is pretty much how Google is calculating who are the topical dominators or who are the topical authorities within each knowledge domain. And so there's some secrets here we'll get to, but I want to build it up for you guys. So X-axis, all the domains that we're interested in studying in this particular context. Y-axis ended up being all of the topics and the knowledge domains that we extracted when we tried to derive the keyword universe around all these domains, okay? And that included related keyword analysis as well. And then we analyze their topicality. And then we figure out within each topic, who are the authorities. And what's interesting here is that you would think, given all the X-axis companies are all SEO companies, that they would it's just all about SEO, right? It's actually not that simple. It goes more granular than just SEO. SEO has to do with, there are other sub-branches of that. There's SEO tools and technology. You can see that of these sites, Search Atlas has the most dominance in SEO tools. Link building is an important context. Linkbuilder.io has the most dominance in that category. They beat us, actually. That explains why they also outrank us for these keywords. And so when you do this analysis, you're kind of asking yourself, which topics here are the most important to me? I do want Search Atlas to win for SEO tools, but actually when I look at these competitors on the X-axis, these guys aren't really the competition for SEO tools. We're competing with guys like SEMrush on that and Ahrefs on SEO tools. But in the context of link building, which is a service that we are really focused on, we do compete with Link Builder, right? Actually acquired by my friend at the Hoth, Mark. And we compete with SEO Reseller. We also offer white label SEO, and we can see relative to some of these other guys, we've got more dominance than Link Builder there, but SEO Reseller has built more topical search volume in this particular subject, and that's why they're able to outrank us. The other thing that's important here, guys, is also the historical data, the aspect of this, which is that a certain domain has outranked other domains for a long time. So when we're moving into the space and we're marshaling the knowledge that we're extracting from this technology, from this approach, we have to step into dominance over our competitors by winning on the keywords that we can win on. So if there's a competitor that's a weaker competitor and they're owning a bunch of topical search volume, I want to bring them into the analysis because I know I can beat them. They're my peer. They maybe have an equivalent amount of authority or less authority than me, or maybe slightly more, because I'm confident that I can beat them anyways. And I will first rob them of their topical authority, and I will steal it, and then I will move on to the next one. And so one of the ways that we do this, we were doing this previously, is we were using this technology to put in and load in 10, 15 different domains and look at those domains and figure out which ones had some topical dominance over us with specific keywords based on the content on their website. And we would target the weaker competitors first and generate the content and compete with them on that content first. And then we'd move on to the next most competitive and then the next most competitive. And eventually we're going after the content that we're being beaten on by the most dominant competitor. Does that make sense? So you start with the weaker guys, you try to beat them up, then you want to go to the tougher guys and you beat them up with their content. Eventually, though, what we have to do is we have to build better content, higher quality content, and wider content with more coverage than our competitors. And what's nice about doing this on a competitor basis is we can figure out how these competitors built up their topical dominance in that particular category, one at a time, and lump all of them together. So we're not just studying one website, we're studying everyone in the entire industry that's ranking on Google, so that when we do this analysis, it's kind of like a complete analysis, at least for the way that the internet is in that moment in time. Obviously, this is a moving proposition because competitors are also developing new content and they're doing their own study of the internet and figuring out what topics they need to start writing about. So when I show you guys the demo, you'll understand more because we'll look at some real data. Okay, exactly, Jonathan nailed it. You're climbing up to beat the final boss. So you got to first beat the henchman, and then eventually you get to that final stage in Double Dragon where you got to beat the big boss. So to get that coverage, you guys know you have topical maps. These help. These are a great aid to figure out how wide to go with our topicality. And one thing I want to say about these topical maps is as the state of the art in the industry keeps evolving, as we get to O3, the new model with OpenAI, these topical maps and the ability to do in-depth topical research becomes easier and easier. And so I'm a huge fan of the strategy because this, I believe, is one of the ultimate ways that when we're designing content roadmaps for clients, that we will be able to figure out what are the topics that we have to hit and how wide do we need to go and what are the rare attributes, what are the unique attributes as Korai talks about them, what do we need to cover within this topical map that is going to allow us to be different than our competitors and to be more granular than them and to create high value content that will allow us to gain that topical dominance. Then when we talk about the depth side of it, the depth really comes from having the content that is specific and well articulated, that it goes into all of the factuality that we need to have in our content, that Google has in their knowledge base, that our competitors have, but also that we can bring in that our competitors don't have, which is what we call information gain. When we ran the analysis in the correlation study that we did around Scholar, what we actually found is that information gain was so highly correlated with ranking well. It was actually, I think, the most highly correlated metric with rankings was information gain. So if you have unique factuality, unique triples in your content that your competitors don't have, and by the way, these can't be trivial, right? Like this guy is blue, that's a trivial triple. That's not interesting enough. It has to be topically relevant. So the subject of the triple needs to be germane and relevant to the keyword in the landing page that you're trying to rank for. So it's got to be useful factuality. It can't just be random factuality. And so in Scholar, we actually score the semantic relevance of those triples, of those facts, so that you can figure out when you look at all your competitors' facts, which ones are relevant and which ones are not relevant. I know a lot of people had questions about how to fully marshal the insight in Scholar. I think that deserves its own live webinar about how do we take the insight from Scholar and use it to make our content better. We'll do that in the new year because there's so much gold in this analysis, and I want to make sure you guys are all able to fully get the value from it. All right? And of course, Scholar is our tool for beating PQ, the Google Page Quality Grading Algorithm. And then Content Velocity, which we released earlier in the 12 days, is the way that you can measure the velocity of your domain versus your competitors. Just to note that we didn't have the competitor analysis feature available when we launched the tool initially, but I believe it may be available now. So you'll be able to benchmark your velocity versus their velocity and look at their publishing cadence. So when you're thinking about, okay, these are my organic competitors in Google, what you really also want to know, not just about their topical gap between you and them, you also want to know how fast are they moving? What's their publishing cadence? How fast are their content teams developing new content? And that should be a hint to you. If you see a competitor in there that's aggressive with their content strategy and they're doing it right, you know that your publishing cadence may need to actually beat them if they really know what they're doing. And I'll say probably only about less than 5% of teams in SEO right now actually even understand this stuff. So you guys you've got a huge advantage. But if you're going after a space like, let's say, casino or payday loans or credit, things like that are really competitive, you're going to find stronger SEOs playing the game, and they'll likely have really well-established content roadmaps and very high content publishing velocity. So just be aware of that, okay? So let's go into the product demo. Who's ready for this? Who's ready to see this? Have you guys jumped into this already in Site Explorer? It is live and it is available. Let's go through it. Let's talk about some of the insights that we can gain. And I'll explain to you guys how this tool works. So when you plug in a domain that you want to analyze, you go to the Topical Dominance feature in here, and you have three tabs. You have the specific topic. So this is the most granular topical level. You've got the middle tier, which is the broad topic, as we call it. And then we have the knowledge domain, which is the most high-level topic that you can analyze, that you can look at. And so here, let's just take a look at who we've got. On the X, we've got a bunch of different SEO brands, companies that do SEO for other clients. And of all of these, Link Builder.io has built the most authority in the topic of SEO. So they've beaten all of us. So one thing we know is that we probably have to be really focused on Link Builder to see what is their strategy. What are they doing? And so when we get to the topical gap here, just to note that we'll be looking at them very carefully. Okay. Then we look at some of these other contexts. We've got the PPC context, and you can see most of these guys are not focused on PPC at all, except for SEO reseller. They are, and probably they're going to outrank all these other guys in the PPC set of keywords because that's where they built up a lot of authority. Then within the software context, not a lot of these competitors are really focused on software. They're keeping their site radius very low, being really focused. You can see these guys have really tightened it up. SEO reseller, they've actually gone pretty broad in a lot of topical areas. They've gone very wide instead of getting really narrow. And so remember, when we think about the site radius topic, which we covered earlier in this talk, lower site radius is better. And so naturally we can see that Link Builder is going to have a better chance for ranking for SEO related keywords than the rest of us because they've gone really narrow with their topical focus. Unfortunately, Link Graph, we've gone broader because we were also focused on software, right? Because before we were Search Atlas, we began as an agency. And so we were building out content around the software keywords. So maybe some of that content will prune, right? Well, we'll move it over to Search Atlas and let Search Atlas take that topical space. But the most important thing for Link Graph to win is it needs to win in the SEO keyword universe. All right. So that's the high level. Let's go one layer deeper into the broad topics. And let's see, we can look at some of the broad topics that Link Builder is really strong in. And one of them is link building. Shit. These guys, they've done a really good job focusing when we narrow this analysis down into the link building topic. You can see there are some others that they're also winning on. Web ranking, keywords, domain metrics. But link building, you can see they've really done a great job building content about link building because that's their primary focus. And you can see Link Graph, we've gone pretty wide with these topics. We have some content ranking for all of these wider set of topics. But if we really want to win in link building, probably we have to change our content strategy to really narrow it down and focus on link building if that's what we want to do. Which is really, it is really our main focus. And probably we've gone too deep in tools. We've covered too deeply the idea of SEO tools, especially since we want to win, not particularly on that particular subject. And then in the area of white label, we're putting up some decent points, but SEO reseller has us beat. And so probably what we need to do is concentrate our footprint more in these specific topics that we care about. And to break it down, you guys are probably wondering, okay, well, now that I know that, like, what are the topics? What are the keywords that I've got to focus on that my competitors have? Well, let me show you. There's a couple ways to do this analysis. The first is a topic breakdown where you can see the more granular scores associated with all the domains. So I can go and I can look at my score. I can also go look at my competitor scores, and I can see Link Builder. You can see how their scores break down. Their average position for link building is a 5.8. That's really, really good. Very impressive. Very high topical dominance in link building. So they did a great job. Semantic distance score, very low semantic distance relative to these other topics. So you can see that's really their focus. They've got 189 topical keywords that are about this topic. The site's topic search volume is almost 50,000. And the total topical search volume there is 66,550. So they're gobbling up most of it. It's very impressive there. So let's go and figure out how do we actually get to that? So I'm going to go find that topic of link building. I'm going to expand it. And now I'm going to go look at the topics that they've scooped up all that sweet, sweet topical search volume. Where do they get it? So they've actually written an article about guest posting sites, and they're talking about the free ones. So I can create content about guest posting sites free, and I can probably beat them because they're just talking about guest posting sites in general, but not the free ones. So we can publish that. Local link building services, they've got a page just about that. And so as you scroll through these, you're going to see the keywords and you're going to see the pages on the website. And there's quite a few of them here. a lot of keywords. And this is gold, right? This is pure gold, because when we do a keyword gap analysis, we lose the topicality side of this. And when we do an analysis and we look at all these domains, what you don't want to do is just replicate your competitor's content strategy page by page, because a lot of times they don't even really know how they're doing it, whether they're being so topically focused or whether they're going too wide. And if you do that, you'll probably inflate your site radius more than you had anticipated. You will contribute to topical dilution. And so if you take this approach, which is a much more seasoned and advanced approach, which no one right now is taking in the industry. Why is no one really taking it? Because number one, this is the first of its kind. This technology does not exist until today that we created it and we launched it. I know some people that are interested in and they're doing a lot of work around topical mapping and semantic SEO, and they do great work, don't get me wrong. But building the kind of software to analyze the topicality of competitors in this sort of way is quite revolutionary. It does not exist. So now here what we can do is take the sum of all of the competitors in this space, and now probably, guys, what I would do is I would first run the analysis, because you guys know in this context, I'm really focused on the link building keyword. I want to win in that. What I would do is I would load up all the sites that I see winning on Google for link building related keywords, and I would plug them in. And then I would do this topical gap, and I would only grab out of here all of the keywords and all of their pages that are relevant to this context. Then what we can do is we can AI generate versions of their pages and very quickly, rapidly increase our topical dominance over that particular keyword and that topic, that set of keywords in that topic. Very cool. Let's look at some of the other contexts that are here in the broad topic family. We've got local SEO. Interesting to look at these and see how these competitors improved their local SEO keyword rankings. You can see what they did is they created city-specific pages or business-specific pages, but you could see, who is this guy? This is SEO Reseller. They've basically built pages for a whole bunch of cities, and through that, they've been able to increase their authority around the local context within SEO, which is very smart, very clever, great strategy if you want to really go local, is to boost your local authority with city pages. Let's look at some of these others. Which others are monetizable? Link building would be the most for me, for sure. Social media, not that interested. White label services, this is a really good one. So white label design, website design services, white label website audit, like these are really good keywords that we haven't explored on our website. So these are definitely topics that I'll send to our team at LinkGraph to create content around. Then going more broad with white label, you can see some other contexts in which they've written content and are ranking for those keywords. Really, really useful. So when we're designing a content strategy, getting out of here these topics which our competitors are ranking for, this is actually how, if we want it to become the topical authority and dominate all of these competitors, what we would have to do is we would have to rank for more keywords than they do within this context and get higher visibility scores. And so sometimes if we're competing against them on head terms that have a high search volume, well, the way we're going to have to do that is actually not start with the head terms that have high SV. We're going to have to go for the terms that have lower search volume, right? And beat them on those first. If we're not confident that we can win on the head term, like SEO as a term, we're not going to target that. We're going to target these other terms which have lower search volume and are much easier to win on. Like for these keywords, I know for sure that when we create the content around these keywords, we're going to rank page 1 right away. And within a couple weeks, we will see that we can actually move our position in this analysis up and get to a better place than we are right now. So the heat maps, the topic gaps, the topic breakdowns, we covered these. Guys, I hope you guys take advantage of this. This is really powerful stuff. Let's go even deeper into the specific topics, and let's look at what these topic gaps look like. So now you'll notice that these clusters are smaller. They're not as big as they were before because we've gone more granular. And so if when you're looking at the keywords that are coming up in the broad topic or even the knowledge domain level, and you see really high search volumes and you just think, you know what, these are going to be too competitive, go to the more granular level, go to the specific topic level and look at the keywords that are in the gap, right? And build those first. So these are also great keywords to target there. Link building tools, even though this brings in the tool context, you can see link builder, the reason that they're covering these tool related keywords is that once again, all of these, if you notice, they have a bigram in them, which is link building. Very important bigram if you want to rank for link building related keywords, because these are all contexts around link building that people are searching for, that you can rank for, that you can pick up search demand for, and thereby boost your topical dominance. Even if the search intent is slightly different and we're getting into tools, this is still a relevant bigram for us because we want to rank for link building. Do you guys know what bigram is? So we have this type of analysis called an n-gram analysis. 1 gram is just one token, one term. Bigram is 2 tokens. So link building is a bigram. What's a trigram? 3 tokens. So the way that we actually did this analysis is it's an n-gram analysis where we analyze the keyword universe in an n-gram way. I don't know if that'll mean a lot to some of you guys. Probably not. But if you're one of the more teched out techie nerds, you guys might find that interesting in terms of the way that we had to design the algorithm to parse through a whole bunch of interesting keywords across the entire knowledge domain. There is also a scatter chart in here as well that is a different presentation of the information. This presentation could be really useful and interesting if you're presenting your findings to a client and you're trying to show them something that they've never seen before, right? Clients have never seen this stuff before. So if you go to them and say, client ABC, tell me, like we do this with our enterprise level clients, the guys who are going to pay us $10K a month and above, is we want to show them something that they've never seen before. If you go into, let's say Ahrefs or Semrush, and you take a screenshot and you send it to them, or you give them, God forbid, like an export from those tools, everyone knows what those tools look like. Everyone is sharing those reports. Everyone has seen them before. That's a great way to not get invited back for another meeting, is not providing enough value or unique insight. This, by definition, is incredibly unique and very powerful insight that you can use to sell the client on the content roadmap, on bridging the topical gap. And because you've been following this, you guys understand the approach, the techniques, the technology that involved and how we do it. There's very, I would say, like maybe 1 out of 100 CMOs at a company will actually be able to understand this and implement it themselves independently without third-party advanced SEO help. To internalize this requires a lot of subject matter expertise that just frankly, I've never seen at the CMO level. Very few CMOs have this kind of background, and even fewer SEOs, very few SEOs actually really understand how we get to this type of analysis. So you guys, really excited to put this in your hands. Make good use of it. Looking forward to also seeing you guys post screenshots of these reports in the Facebook group, in the community group. Share about it, present your findings, present your research, and let me know what you guys think. Would love to see how you guys are able to marshal and use this new innovation in your SEO campaigns with your clients. Really excited to give it to you. And yeah, guys, I'm going to jump into the chat and see what kind of questions we've got so far. So V12, he's saying he's already playing with it. Awesome. Have fun with that. Laura, she's super hyped on it. I see a whole bunch of awards and rocket emojis. It's great. Weapons in a Flash is digging it. I like it. I like it. A lot of love for it. Let's see, any questions? If you guys have questions, let me know. Someone's looking for the Gangsta's Paradise intro. Yeah, we'll drop that. We'll drop that in a second. Cool. Awesome. We could look at another report as well. Here's one more in the for Search Atlas that we've already analyzed and started talking about internally with our team is analyzing how we stack up relative to our competitors. And a lot of these sites are huge, huge websites. And so one of the big projects for us in Q1 is going to be taking all this research. It's going to be taking Scholar. It's going to be taking Goliath. If you guys don't know what Goliath is, I'll tell you more about Goliath. And basically rebuilding a really powerful topical map around the entire keyword universe that we need to in order to rank well for the keywords that we're targeting in SEO. So we'll be posting you guys, we'll be letting you guys know of real case studies of how we've implemented this report and these findings within our campaigns. And we'll also, of course, be showing you guys the results and walking you guys through the case study as it unfolds. Okay? All right, Sharona. Sharona's asking, when will auto PPC be ready? Okay, well, today was about topical dominance, but I can let you know that auto PPC will be coming in January. So we'll be making an announcement about it. It is on the way. It is in development right now, and we'll be going into alpha on that product. If you're interested in testing out auto PPC, please send me a DM on Facebook and just say, hey, I'm interested in auto PPC. And we can add you to the Slack group that is about auto PPC so that as soon as it's ready, you guys can begin prototyping it and playing with it and get early access to it. Awesome. All right, Sharona. Deepak says he likes the in-depth analysis. From the topical dominance, can we add a term we want to go for into a map for that specific client? So the thing about this analysis is that you can't modify the keyword universe in this report. In order for us to do this, what we had to do was basically create these normalized scores for each domain. And that requires that we had to calculate the topical search volume, the topical share of search for each domain. And in order for us to do that, we had to kind of lock down the data sets. So it's not possible to add new keywords to the analysis to the report. But what it is doing is it's drawing from a very wide array of keywords that the domains are ranking for. So when you plug in competitors into this, as long as you know that that website is ranking for a particular keyword or that you're ranking for a particular keyword or whoever is, just go to Google and type in the keyword that you're interested in and make sure that at least one of the sites that's ranking for that keyword is plugged in as a competitor, and that keyword will be added into this report for sure. You can guarantee it. Okay? Sweet. Greg dropping some cherry bombs. Love it. Lori says she loves it. Greg's got a crystal ball emoji. Super cool. Alex saying, gosh, I have so much work to do. You and me both, bro. We've been working hard on this in the holidays, and there's a lot that we're also going to be implementing in for our sites based on this new technology and this new knowledge. So our AI content team, I'll be probably inviting some of the new people on the team to these calls so you guys can meet them, but they are tremendous, really beacons and brilliant minds as well. So you'll be learning a lot from them as well, and we'll bring them into these calls soon enough. V12 says, imagine what will happen when Auto gets a hold of this lot. Yeah, Auto is going to be using this. So one of the things that we're doing is when we build these really powerful analysis reports, that's step one, is we get the data, we learn, we get the insight from these reports, and then what we'll do with Auto is we'll take the insight out of the report and it's fed into Auto. Auto can use it to reverse engineer the competitor's topical gap, right? That's the idea. One of the reasons why we had to build Scholar and build Topical Dominance is so that we could feed Auto with all the right inputs that it can use to build the best content strategy, right? And then we create Goliath and we create the very best that we can in the AI content generation sphere so that we can then build the best landing pages that'll outrank our competitors so we can win. And then we'll see ourselves go all green in the Topical Dominance reports. Okay? Awesome. Ken says, it's crazy good, but it's so elementary. Just follow the proper way and you can conquer any domain. It does. I do think that, at a high level, when you look at what's happening, there's a lot of complexity under the hood. But when you think about what's actually the key idea or the key insight from this is we're really saying, go after these keywords, build the content. If you want to know what type of content to create, here's the competitor that has created content that's winning in your arena. Here's all of their content in mass that we need to pay attention to. And so if we were to reverse engineer, okay, if we were able to reverse engineer the topical gap that has given them topical dominance over us, then we have a very good chance of beating them, okay? But also sometimes we have to go beyond that gap and come up with new topics. That's why it's important that we include as many competitors as we can, because sometimes competitor 1 only has this much of the topical universe. Competitor 2 has all these other topics over here that we didn't think about. And then when you use a topical map, you can also come up with new topics that maybe aren't represented inside any of these domains. So that's kind of how we do it. We don't want to just look at one competitor. We want to look at the entire industry. And as best as we can, I'm going to jump back into those slides, is you want to rebuild, where is it? This. You want to go and find all the domains that have the highest weight, the topical dominators in your arena. And so the way that I pick the right competitors, and this is actually an important question, is how do I know which domains to run in this analysis? Well, what you have to do is you have to look at enough keywords and get enough intuition around who the dominators are in your space to load them into the report. Automatically, based on any domain that you plug into the Site Explorer, what we do is we do a keyword universe overlap. So based on the keywords that you're ranking for, we find all the competitors that are outranking you for those keywords across the entire universe that you're already ranking for. And so if you're already kind of ranking, maybe not that well, for a lot of the keywords in your space, and you already have a content strategy that has been started for the domain, for the website you're on, well, that's great, because the organic competitors we're going to load in there for you will be more accurate. It'll be more likely to represent the correct set of websites that are the topical dominators in the space. But if you're looking at a new site, it's like a local business, it has a very immature website with not a lot of content on it. I don't mean like immature, like, juvenile, but just like immature in the sense that it doesn't have enough content, that it's published, or it's low quality content, then you will have to go into the SERPs yourself and develop your own intuition around who are the topical dominators in that universe. You can't, and also don't trust your client to tell you who those are. A lot of times when I ask clients, who's your competition? They're going to give me competitors that they know are better funded or bigger, or they think that they have more visibility. They think they're competitors, but they're actually not. And so in this analysis, I would really encourage you, ask the client, see what they think, but do your own investigation. Study the SERPs yourself to build up that intuition for who are the topical dominators in that keyword space. Okay. Sweet. Alex saying, let's add some filters to the data. Totally, let me know what kind of filters you're thinking about. We can definitely filter the data in many different ways. We were also kind of racing to push this live as well. As you guys can imagine, it's been a very busy holiday season for us building all this stuff for you. And so this is kind of like our beta version, and we'll be elaborating and adding more to it, and also making these labels more readable and doing some nice kind of quality of life enhancements into the reports. Okay, Douglas asks, is there a limit to the number of competitors you can add? So to tell you the truth, I don't know. I don't think that there is a limit right now, but there probably should be. We can set the limit pretty high, probably 10 would be the upper bound, just so that the data sets don't become so unruly. It also depends on the size of the websites. The bigger these sites are, the more data wrangling is taking place on the back end. And so I'm not sure, but I'll talk to the engineering team and I'll see what we can set the upper bound to. But for now, I'm pretty sure you can pretty much plug in as many competitors as you like. Okay, Alex asking, remind me, do we want the semantic distance we want to be high or low? Good question, Alec. Does anyone want to wager a guess? Do we want the semantic distance of the topics to the website to be high or to be low? Right? So where does semantic distance come from? Right? Going back to this visualization here, high semantic distance are going to be topics that are far away from each other, right? So we want them to be actually low. We want the semantic distance to be low between us and our topics on our website. That's also how we get the low site radius. Okay? Good job, V12. V12 says low. Good job, V12. Awesome. Smart bunch here. Really good. All right. Alec also says, I would love a webinar that talks about how to apply topical dominance to a single service business trying to win many local markets. Cool. That's an interesting suggestion. What we could do is we could do like a SEO theory webinar on a Tuesday and run through like a case study. Maybe send us an example of like a competitor or a client of yours in like a space, and we can kind of canvas that example and run the analysis. Ramon and I can unpack that together with you, and we can interview you. We can talk about it. I think that's a great suggestion. The small neighborhoods don't appear on the topical dominance report, fair enough, but I'd like to make a strategy around that. If you go to the specific topic, I wonder if they would appear there. If there is not enough signal in the competitors that you've picked up here, you may not see that topic appear on the left-hand side. So in order for it to appear, there has to be enough signal there lighting up. So that's an important note. The competitors that you pick, if the competitors haven't done a good job with their SEO, then the gap is going to be less meaningful. Where this gap is really useful is when we're competing against really, really good companies, like with really good websites that have done an excellent job with their SEO strategy, and we're trying to figure out with our teams, how do we align to beat them in the next, let's say, like 3 months or so with our content strategy. So usually more prominent for like national campaigns, but it can be used for local as well. Cool. Santiago says it's set to 5 competitors currently. Okay, good to know. So max of 5 right now, but we'll talk about that. Cool, guys. Awesome. Yeah, we have been working our butt off. It's been a busy holiday season for us, to say the least, building all this new technology, and it's not over yet. I think this is day 9. So we've got day 10, 11, and 12. We got 3 more days coming for you, starting on Monday. So lots of new innovation, lots of new product coming. I'm really excited to share with you guys some of the new stuff that's on deck. But I hope you guys really enjoy Topical Dominance today. Before I leave you guys, we've got another announcement. Today we are, let me make sure I get the name right. We have made another donation. Every day we've been donating. Today we are donating to the Hunger Project. We're donating $1,000 to the Hunger Project. Their mission is to facilitate individual and collective action to change systems of inequality and end hunger worldwide. To learn more about their mission, thp.org. That is the charity that we're donating to today. We are also, so yesterday I forgot to mention it, but we made a $1,000 donation to the Marine Mammal Center to advance ocean health through marine mammal rescue and rehabilitation, research, and education. To learn more about their work, you can go to marinemammalcenter.org to also find out more about them. And again, these were charities that you guys picked, that you guys wanted us to donate to. And so we just went through the list that you guys suggested, and we picked those charities. So I hope this is meaningful for you guys, and also as part of our ethos to also have a positive impact on the world around us and the community. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. This has been really fun. Thanks for all the interaction in the community. A lot of great comments today, a lot of great feedback today. It's been an absolute pleasure to be with you guys again, and have an awesome weekend. We'll be busy getting prepared for Monday because we've got more product coming your way, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Monday will be the next drop. Ken's saying this was the perfect Friday choice. So glad you could be here with us for this today, Ken. This is also a capstone to an otherwise amazing week on our side too. We've really had an awesome time with this 12 Days of Search Atlas, and honestly just a little teary-eyed that it's going to be coming to a draw on the 12th at the end of the year. But that's okay. We're not going anywhere. We're going to keep doing these streams. And again, guys, thank you so much. And I'll see you on Monday. Peace out.